Half lap joints are another very easy to cut joint, very strong as well. A half lap is simply a joint that is cut in two mating pieces. You take away half the thickness of both, and when they come together you have a lot of face grain to face grain gluing surface, very strong. You can cut half laps where the two boards join at the end. You can cut a half lap in the middle, or where two pieces cross like this. A half lap does provide some mechanical strength, especially when it's in partially captured like one of these two. It resists twisting back and forth. However, of course, it does lift out, so you'll need to glue these pieces together. Half laps are best cut with a dado blade on the table saw. Now, since we're going to be making a relatively wide cut here, again, it's a good idea to have a dado blade set up in your table saw. Width isn't terribly important. You're going to make several passes over the blade, so 3/4 inch, somewhere in that neighborhood is a good starting point. First thing to do is set up your miter gauge. I've simply attached a auxiliary face to my miter gauge here, a little double face tape, and that needs to extend just a little bit past the blade. The purpose of that is to back up the cut so you don't get chip out on the back side. Next, we want to set the rip fence to match the width of your workpiece. So this is one of the pieces I'll be cutting a half lap in. I want to align this so when it's up against the rip fence, this outside edge is aligned with the outside edge of the tooth on the dado blade. Okay, that feels just right. Now the next thing to set is the height of the blade. I'm going to start with it just eyeballing somewhere below half thickness of this piece. To check the blade height, make a cut on just the end of each piece. Then check the fit. Not quite there yet, need to make a little adjustment up. Okay, you can see how those two pieces slide right together. That means my blade is set at exactly the right height. I can continue on cutting the full width of this joint. So there is a nice fit on a half lap joint. That works well for cutting pieces across the end. Now I'm using the fence as a stop there to set the point where the shoulder of the cut is made. What if I'm cutting a half lap I need in the middle like this? In that case, it's a matter of just having a little fine touch. I'm going to use my mating piece to mark where it's supposed to go. Right there, right there. And then we're going to just eyeball that, sneak up on the cut. We're going to start inside the line at each edge and then work our way out until we have a nice fit. There we go. Half lap, cut right into the middle of the field. Okay, we're just about ready to glue up this half lap. You can see that the dado blade that I was using leaves little tiny ridges across both faces of the half lap. I want to clean that up just a little bit to get a better glue surface. Sanding block, makes quick work of that. Don't have to get overly aggressive on the sanding. You don't want to change the overall depth too much. So now I've got a much cleaner fit there. Gluing up half laps, they are really one of the easiest joints there is to glue up. You need pretty much just one clamp at each joint. Place some glue on one face, even it out so it covers the full face of the joint. Put the mating piece in place and clamp right at the middle of the joint. If you have a half lap at the end like this, double check that it hasn't slipped in either direction so that it's flush on all faces. A half lap like this one, you'll also want to check that it hasn't slipped out this way. A T half lap like this will self-register, so once you've got that one clamped, it's not going to slide around on you.